Although I guess I
My day
should
was
actually like make this special because we have a guest for the first time in ages. We're here with Harley Nox cosplay. Oh my god. Someone, finally.
it's a pleasure, truly.
So I think we're gonna have fun. I put things on a Google Doc that we're gonna talk about.
Sounds good to me.
Although, before we talk about anything, one, how was everyone's day? And two, I just have some things that I would like to complain about because we do a lot of that here on the Fighting with Friends podcast, and I think we're pretty good at it.
I have a degree in complaining.
Oh, we love to see it.
Oh yeah. My day was I don't know how to phrase this in a way that if my boss sees it, he doesn't fire me. He really angered me today.
You know, sometimes it happens.
He dropped I dropped a huge pile of projects on his desk that were completed and ready to be reviewed like a week and a half before the deadline. And today was the deadline, and 5 minutes before the deadline, he decided to start reviewing them. And he found an error, which was totally like, it was a miscommunication error, so it wasn't like I did technically anything wrong. It was something I just had to quickly fix. But it applied to about 30 different items in a project.
I would have set myself on fire right then and
He told me
there.
5 minutes before the deadline that all of them needed to be changed.
Oh boy.
So I looked at him and I was like, with all due respect, that's not gonna happen.
I probably would have said it in a much more rude way, so, I mean, good for you.
Well, I am very lucky. I work in HR as my regular Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job, and I do cosplay at every other waking moment.
Love
but,
it.
I'm really lucky in my day job. I love my boss. He's actually a really, really great boss, and he has told me, like, in terms of work-life balance, if I ever tell him I need a day off, he'll just approve it. He doesn't even need a reason.
Oh, we stan.
Yeah, and he's offered to mentor me because this is like my first big office job and it's in my field, so it's really great. And he's offered to help me study for certifications, and like I wouldn't trade it for the world, but like God, today I wanted to strangle him.
It happens to the best of us. Brooks, how was your day? Do you have anything to add? Because the things that happened in my day, one of them is the thing that leads into the complaining. The other thing is just something that I think is funny.
No, my day was fine.
Love that for you. So, here's the thing that occurred today that just annoys me a lot. I have said before on this podcast, like, I love online shopping. I love purchasing items online as much as the next girl, but I hate that it has pretty much caused the death of, like, brick and mortar retail, because I bought a swimsuit online, and the bottoms were too small. So I'm going to return them, but I can't get the matching, I can't get the matching ones anymore, because the size, like, the mediums are sold out. So I was like, okay, the top is black and white, I'm just gonna get a plain white bottom until they restock them, because I want to wear the top on vacation. I go to my local mall. I walk around for like over an hour. I look in every single store that sells swimwear. I cannot find a single plain white swimsuit bottom that does not indecently expose me anywhere. Zara, H&M, Macy's, JCPenney, Aerie, Urban Outfitters, nothing. And I just...
Doesn't surprise me.
I love buying things online, I really do, but the fact that I cannot walk into a store, make sure something fits my body before I purchase it, and then leave, the fact that that is so difficult to do now annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, imagine, so I used to be a size 16, which is, it's not shopping friendly, let me tell you that. And it's definitely not cosplay friendly or cosplay community friendly, which sucks, but that's a topic for another time. So I've
For
lost...
a podcast much more serious than this one.
Yeah, been there, done that. Like, would rather not repeat, but like, we can maybe if you need to. But anyway, and then I lost 2 dress sizes over the last 2 years, and I get better comments, but I also have an easier time finding stuff in stores. I can only imagine if you're not a standard size, or like for me, I have a 10-inch difference between my bust, waist, and hips. So there's 10 inches between my bust, 10 inches between my bust and waist, and then 10 inches between my waist and hips. So like it's very hard to find clothes that fit me, but I hate shopping. I hate it because I never find anything that fits.
I am
ever.
like one of the most, I think, average sized people you could find. Like, I feel like I am just smack in the middle of so many, like, this is a size medium. And even then, like, you run into your things where it's like, oh, like, you know, it doesn't quite fit perfectly. Like, I just cannot imagine.
It sucks. And so I just part of the reason I'm better at sewing now than I was a couple of years ago is because as soon as I lost the weight and my body now has these weird funky measurements, I had to learn to alter everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like paying the dry cleaner to alter it all the time. So I just taught myself how to do it myself.
So valid. But yeah, I don't like that I can't make sure that something, like, fits my ass before I purchase it.
Yeah. Trust me. I get it.
Rant over for now.
We
There
should
will
go
be a
to the
next
old
time.
days when everything was like custom made.
No, and I was talking to my boyfriend about this and, like, explaining how, like, obviously, like, the men's sort of clothing sizing system doesn't eliminate all problems, because, like, guys who are, like, on the shorter side or, like, really tall, like, yeah, you can still have trouble finding, like, pants that fit or whatever, but at least there's, like, a measurement to it. Women's clothing numbers are just so arbitrary. Like, why am I a 4 in some brands and then an 8 in others? Explain it to me.
Yeah, I'm a medium in some brands as a size 12, and I'm a 1XL in other brands as a size 12. I'm like, what? That's not even like in the same range.
Yeah, it's not even the
That's
same
like
ballpark.
one is considered straight sizing and the other one is considered plus sizing. Why are they overlapping? That doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely bizarre. It drives me insane. And now, the thing that I just thought was funny happened last night. Harley, are you at all familiar with the band Ghost? It doesn't matter if you are or not, it's just going to change how I tell the story ever so slightly. So I'm obsessed with this is what the necklace is, this, like, kind of metal, hard rock, like, occult hard rock band called Ghost, where, everyone wears a mask, they all play characters on stage, and there is backstory that is officially sanctioned by the band. They, like, release videos and stuff like that. It's like, explaining the characters and the things that they're doing. I found out last night, after having been talking about this to my boyfriend for, like, well over a year now. Like, you can ask her. She's in hell. I don't shut up about it. It is the only thing I care about. And I appreciate you for tolerating me every single day. But, I found out that last night, that the whole time my boyfriend has thought that all of the sort of, like, the backstory, the lore, was just being made up by fans on the fly. And that's why he was so unbelievably confused as to how I could possibly keep anything straight in my head. Because some of it was like, Brooks, this is going to be a test for you. Do you remember the word fanon from my PowerPoint night presentation?
Glee.
Do you remember what it means?
It's like fan canon.
Correct. So, like, some of the masked performers are given nicknames by fans that have stuck, and now everyone knows it, and that's how they, you know, differentiate from, you know, the lead guitarist or the rhythm guitarist, whatever. But there's a ton of stuff that is, like, written by the person who formed this band, and, like, there are scripts and, like, officially sanctioned information. He thought that all of this was just completely fanon, made up by every single person who listens to this band, and then whatever just gains the most traction is what's official. And it was revelatory. I finally understood why he has been so confused trying to, like, keep track of, like, who some of the characters are, or, like, how these two titles for a different person are not different people. It is the same character at, like, different job titles. And it's just...
The only explanation I have is men.
But I found this out
My
last
fiance
night.
is really offended in the background.
Sorry.
He says not offended, just confused.
Fair enough. But yeah, that happened last night.
It's his default state. It's fine.
We have been together for well over a year, and this entire time I have been talking about this band and, like, the lore and all of the things that go with it. No wonder he's been so fucking confused.
The nameless ghouls are made up. He just kind of like, he heard.
Yeah, the ghoul names are made up, but there's so much else that, like, I mean, it's all made up, but, like, there's so much else that's, like, this is put out by the person who founded this project. Like, this is written by that person. And I was just like, huh. That explains...
You never thought to Google it?
No, apparently not. Just because I talk about it so much, why would he have to?
There's a lot of reasons.
He's going to see this band with me in, August, by the way.
That's hilarious.
So that was just a really fun thing that happened to me today, and I thought it was super fun. Or it happened to me yesterday, and I thought it was super funny.
It is pretty funny.
Because he's like, who's writing all this? I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean who's writing all this? The band is writing this. He's like, huh? You mean the videos aren't just like... He thought it was like cosplay videos that people were taking like as canon.
Sweet summer child.
It was so funny. He's 28.
That's hilarious.
And he's like not a fandom person, so like I kind of get it, but as a person who has been involved in fandom spaces since I was like 13, utterly hilarious.
He found out before the ritual, because otherwise I feel like
that would have been so fucking funny. That would have been great. But yeah, that's a thing that happened to me last night that I just thought that everyone should know. So there you have it.
Publicly shaming Kyle. Got it.
Publicly shaming Kyle. Maybe that'll be the episode title. Who knows? But now that we've gotten that out of the way, I would like to move into the things that I actually have written down as part of today's episode. Although if anyone feels the need to bring up literally anything at any point, that's kind of what we do here. But the first thing that I'm just kind of put on the table for everyone, worst cosplay mishap.
Which one?
All, Brooks, I know your experience is limited, and compared to yours, Harley, mine also is, but, like, the floor is open to any and everybody.
The biggest thing that has ever happened to me, like, are we talking, like, during a photo shoot or, like, mid-convention?
Let's say mid-convention, because I feel like that has the potential to be funnier.
Yeah, so, if you're not familiar with the video game, Fallout is a post-apocalyptic video game set after nuclear warfare, and there are vaults that have dwellers in them that are experimented on by a company.
I made a Vault Dweller cosplay.
It is my most popular cosplay to date, and it actually helped me get through radiation treatment when I was going through cancer. So Fallout has a really special place in my heart, and it connected me with my fiance. It's connected me with several of my closest friends. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But anyway, the point was I was cosplaying for the first time at a convention, my Vault Dweller, and I had built armor for the first time. I had bought replica weapons. I had tailored a suit. I had, gone above and beyond, ordered 3D printed accessories, specifically wired my phone into a 3D printed Pip-Boy so I could have a Pip-Boy.
That's awesome.
That Pip-Boy fell apart mid-convention, literally about halfway through the day. It would not stay shut, and then the magnets and Velcro gave way. Because I did not realize at the time that the magnets that had been sent with the kit were supposed to be epoxied in, not super glued in, because you used super glue for the rest of the build. They didn't specify it had to be epoxy, and I didn't realize it was those level of magnets. So halfway through the convention, it fell apart to the point where I could not even keep it on my wrist. And I was about to head, if you've ever been to New York Comic Con, there's a tunnel where there's a lot of photographers. And I was about to head out there to see what was going on, see if anybody was willing to do a shoot with me. Even if, because a lot of my friends hang out there too, because if you've also been there, you know that's where the food trucks are.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The takoyaki stand was there, and my fiance was like, let's go get takoyaki. Yeah, see, he's dancing in the background. He loves takoyaki from that stand.
I mean.
But anyway, so I was about to go out there, and I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, this sucks. So we actually found, when we went upstairs, because at the moment we were in the bottom cafeteria, but we went upstairs to go out to the tunnel, and we ran into a cosplay repair station, and we ended up duct taping it closed, which you can't see in photos, which is great, but unfortunately it is now a husk. I've
Rip.
even upgraded phones since then, so it's 3D printed to a phone I don't even have anymore. So I think, so it's, I could like put more detail into painting it and put in a screen. It's not like I can't use it ever again. It's just, it's gonna be a lot of work.
It happens.
But that was mid-convention, and it was rough. I have since bought 3 other Pip-Boys because I have no self-control.
Literally same. I don't know if I necessarily have like a really bad mishap that has happened to me mid-convention because I haven't gone to that many. It's always terrible when you're walking around and you just feel the wig cap sliding back.
Big grips.
Yeah, that was a lesson learned.
I can wear really back heavy wigs with a wig grip. Mine are silicone, but you can get velvet ones. They don't hold quite as well as the silicone ones, but the silicone ones do the trick. And they will prevent most things from sliding off your head.
Yeah, that was me learning my lesson walking around my first Saratoga Comic-Con, just like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Because I have had short hair since like 8th grade. And every time I put on a long wig, I'm just like, ooh, this is so fun. And like not really knowing what to do with it anymore.
Yeah.
And then I just feel it just like, just like shit.
My hair is naturally really long. So I am used to long hair. Most of my wigs are short hair though, which is because I refuse to cut my hair.
Oh,
I don't care about dyeing my hair. Like if I wanted to dye my hair a different color, like for a cosplay, I totally would. But I refuse to cut my hair. Right now I'm growing it out for my wedding, but usually I have at least shoulder length hair.
Oh, I was like this close to shaving my own head for a cosplay.
Listen,
like,
when I get ready for cosplay, I shave my the little flap of hair down here. I shave that.
I should. That's genius.
Yeah. And I have waxed them off before.
Respect, honestly. This is what I was saying.
Trust me, the salon looked at me like I had 6 heads. I was like, hey, could you wax my sideburns off? And they were like,
what's wrong with you?
They were like, they literally just stopped. They were doing my nails at the time, and they just looked at me and they were like,
why?
What? And I'm like, listen, I just have a photo shoot coming. I lied and said I had a photo shoot. It was really a convention, but I was like,
I don't have time to explain this.
I want to look fantastic. And they're like, oh, okay. And then honestly, that was such an awkward experience that I don't care to repeat because I have social anxiety that I just shave them off at home.
I love that for you. Throwback, this isn't even necessarily a mishap, this is just I can't believe I pulled this off in the way that I did. Throwback to the time where I put together an entire cosplay using twine, my dad's old shirt, and I think it was a sorting hat it was supposed to be. And I threw it together and I painted my face and I was like, fuck it, I'm Scarecrow from Batman because all my friends were Batman villains the other day. That one of the days of the convention, I was like,
if it works,
it worked.
It works. Speaking of Batman, that is one of my cos plans for later this year.
Very fun.
Yeah, me and my fiance are getting married in September, and we are going to New York Comic Con this year, and this year's lineup is going to be all quote unquote just married cosplays, which I think is really cute, and it was his idea. So
that's adorable.
I'm giving him the credit here. So we're doing Catwoman and Batman from their wedding.
Amazing.
So I have I have like 7 gowns hanging in my closet for various different things, and I'm just like,
God, I wish that were me.
So we're doing Catwoman and Batman. We are doing Flynn and Rapunzel from Tangled Ever After.
So
Which
cute.
I will also be walking down the aisle to a piano version of I See Delight from Tangled. It is my favorite movie, and he is my Eugene. So anyway,
Love it.
we're doing Vault Dwellers, but we're doing a unique twist on it. So I am known for my bunny suit cosplays, so I am going to be doing a Vault Bunny, and he is going to be doing like a Hugh Hefner Vault Dweller kind of thing.
Okay, vibes.
And then we are also doing just married little like bride and groom, shy guy and shy gal.
This is so cute.
He came up with the Fallout one, and he came up with the shy guy one. So I am very creative, but I did not think of those. So I have to give him credit where credit is due.
I love everything about that so much.
Yeah, and trust me, Comic-Con tickets this year were the easiest they've ever been, and I don't know why that was.
And I am like kicking myself for this because the 4-day tickets are sold out, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna every single day.
Well, Saturday is also sold out.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
next year.
Well, I was in and out in under 20 minutes, and I managed to get 2 4-day passes and a Thursday pass.
God damn.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this is literally the easiest it's been all year.
That's whack. I was late to work once because I was getting Comic-Con tickets.
Oh, no, I specifically, if Comic-Con tickets go on sale during a weekday, I will take the day off, or if I'm scheduled, I will call out.
As you should, as is your God-given right, in my, personal opinion.
Yeah. Good news is this past weekend when they went on sale, I actually, the same day they went on sale, I had my bridal shower. So, like, I'm literally, like, I wake up early in the morning, my fiance wakes up early in the morning because we both had to be there, and he's like, we're like waiting. The shower was at noon, and like tickets go on sale at 10, and we're like, okay, like 10. We have the timer up. We're like 10 a.m. on the dot. We click the button, and we're like in the queue. And I'm like, all right, now I can do my makeup for the shower. So I'm like at the counter doing my makeup, which you can see the mirror and like all of my makeup still out there. But I was like doing my makeup. He's like, oh, you're in, and I'm like, what? What do you mean I'm in? I've been away for like 10 minutes. What happened?
That's
He's like,
wild.
yeah, you're in. Yeah.
Damn.
It was impressive.
Yeah, Brooks, any mishaps that you feel the need to share other than just your entire experience? Not that anything bad happened, just that you were deeply uncomfortable.
Not all the time. Not all the time.
Just most of the time.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
I have a weirdly sensitive head.
Oh, so headaches.
Yeah, well, like, I had a wig on the last convention we went to, and, like, this part of my head hurt for 5 days afterward. Like, it was all sensitive, and, yeah. Just from wearing a wig for one day.
And also you had to, like, bobby pin your shorts into place.
It's because I ran out of time. And, it didn't help that I weighed them down with candy. Putting all that candy in my pockets.
Yeah.
There's that, too.
We were, Wirt and Greg from Over the Garden Wall.
Gotcha. That makes a lot more sense. I was like, why did you have candy? Like, that seems like a really surefire way to get yourself banned from a family-friendly convention. Like, just handing out candy to little kids.
This
like,
literally
I feel like
what was happening.
Idea. I actually did, though.
See, when you're in cosplay, it makes it less creepy.
Yeah.
If you were just like walking around in a pair of shorts that were safety pinned together with a wig on and like handing out candy to strangers, no offense, but like I would be freaked.
And I mean, I think you have every right to.
But honestly, like people do give out stuff in cosplay. Like,
it's a vibe.
Adam Savage, when he dressed as No Face at San Diego Comic-Con several years ago, he gave out chocolate coins. And he said that more people, when he held it out to them, would go like this and be like, fuck no, and just walk away. Because if you take gold from No Face, that's a bad thing in Spirited Away.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even think of that.
some people who obviously like recognize the character but hadn't seen the movie in a long time or didn't realize that detail was in it would take the candy from him. But for the most part, everybody was like, fuck no, fuck this shit. He said that someone leaned in and said, fuck you, and then walked away. was like, wow, that guy just said fuck you to Adam Savage. Like,
that's intense.
Okay. I was like, poor Adam. Like, he didn't do anything. He was just offering chocolate, but I guess there's a problem.
That's what I'm gonna call a bit much. Okay, does anyone have anything else to say on this subject before we move on to a tangential one?
No.
Okay. What is the most toxic fandom you've ever been involved in?
Disney.
Oh man, I look
And
back.
I refuse to elaborate. No, I have ADHD. I will always elaborate.
Mood.
So Disney is really nasty to the people who cosplay Disney princesses if they do not fit the beauty standards of that princess.
Shocker.
Yeah. So, like, when I was a size 16, I cosplayed the ball gown version of Belle, and I got so many, like, the worst part is they can't even comment it on a public forum. They have to, like, DM you and insult you in DMs, and I'm like, why? But anyway, they were so nasty. They were so incredibly nasty. They were like, you're too fat to cosplay Belle. I'm like, with all due respect, I am wearing a corset. I know my waist is snatched. Like, it is forcibly being snatched
And
right
I mean,
now.
like, consider this.
Know.
Die.
Yeah. But, like, and Disney fans are also just... I love Disney. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to Disney on my honeymoon. I truly love Disney. But the fandom is bad. The fandom is really bad. I've heard really bad things about the Star Wars fandom, too.
Oh my god.
Which is a subset of Disney, but...
I love, like, the original trilogy. I will not touch. And, like, I've enjoyed some of the other movies that have come out since. I will not touch, like, the actual, like, any sort of, like, Star Wars fandom space on the internet. Terrifying.
Yeah,
I was
I've
on
actually
Tumblr
never seen
in
Star Wars.
2013. And not that I was, like, actively blogging about this or, like, writing anything for it, but I was sort of, like, tangentially in the, like, super hulock scene, which, Christ alive.
Yeah, we all had those days. I was
Jesus.
part of the super hulock scene. That was bad.
It was real bad.
I prefer to not remember those days. Thank you.
No, it was so bad.
Yeah. As someone who has met David Tennant several times,
I love it. And
I'm actually meeting him again this year at Comic-Con.
And I still really love, like, Doctor Who in particular. Like, still a huge fan, but, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Doctor Who in general, like, if you're just a solo Doctor, I never got into Sherlock or Supernatural, so I never
Sherlock. Supernatural is the one that I, like, look back the most and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, for at least for me personally.
I've never seen those other two shows, but if you take Doctor Who alone, like Doctor Who by itself, it's actually a pretty decent fandom. The fans all seriously love the show and will do almost anything for each other. But it's
which, like, is banger, but also, like, everybody leave Jodie Whittaker alone.
I haven't seen any of her episodes, but I will fight people on the internet about it.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Love her. Yeah, so my, like, brief...
I still can't believe David is coming back. I don't care for how long, but the fact he's coming back at all, I'm like, dude.
Which, like,
he has a weirdly specific niche as an actor of, like, immortal who is vaguely in tangential relationship with a semi-sentient space traveling vehicle or time traveling vehicle. Like, it's an oddly specific niche, and I'm really proud of him for finding that, to be honest.
And, like, here's my thing about the David Tennant coming back thing. Like, on the one hand, nice. On the other hand, give somebody else a fucking chance.
In his defense, all British TV shows share, like, 4 actors.
This is also incredibly true. I also love the way that, like, anytime anyone asks Peter Capaldi about, like, returning to Doctor Who, he, like, almost pulls a gun on them.
I mean, Stephen Moffat really murdered him in his writing because, like, he got Peter Capaldi, who is a really gifted actor, got shafted with lines like "Don't be lasagna." I kid you not, that is an actual line that Peter Capaldi was forced to say as the Doctor.
Peter Capaldi is my favorite Doctor, and I know that is a controversial statement.
No, he's up there as one of my
Stop
favorites.
looking at me like that. We have almost slip punched each other over this. But, like, the writing sometimes.
It's bad. It's really bad.
And he, like, did so much with the very little that he was given at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, just... Yeah, Super Hulock, God, what a time that was. I look back and I'm just like, what was I doing? What was anyone doing?
We were all angsty teenagers. It was just a bad move all around.
And it was always worse when you found someone in that circle when you were like 14 and they were like 22. And I was just like, because then I look back on that and I'm like, here's the thing. That was, like, that whole phase of my life was influenced by how fucking 14 years old I was. You don't have an excuse.
Yeah.
And this is not me here being toxic, like, trying to be toxic, but, like, hey, if you're having fun and, like, not, you know, bothering people, go nuts, do whatever you want. But sometimes...
It's when you start bothering people that it becomes an issue.
And it's like, why was a 22-year-old bothering people over this?
Yeah. Like, don't you have better things to do?
I wish I understood.
Like a job? Or a hobby, maybe?
Mm-hmm. But then, on the flip side of this, best fandom that you've ever been involved in?
Fallout. Hands down. Like, not even a question. There has been nothing but undying support for my Fallout career for the video game. There's, you know, I make several different, I mean, I sell prints, obviously. I'm a professional cosplayer, it's what I do, but I also make things to sell, and one of the things I make is replica New Vegas bottle cap jewelry. So I have earrings, a necklace, a keychain, and a charm. It's all the same bottle cap, but it's legitimate bottle caps that have been created with the New Vegas Nuka-Cola logo. But besides the point, Fallout has been the most receptive to me, and it has been the most welcoming to me. And yeah, it can be toxic at times, but man, oh man, do those fans, like, they rally when you need them.
Yeah, I was always in this weird kind of space, especially when I was younger, like, kind of, like, taking up space in fandom online specifically. Like, I'd always be like, how do people find, like, fandom friends or whatever? And, like, as much as there's often much drama on, like, ghost Twitter, and, like, there's some incident every other day, the people that I have found, like, I literally just, like, got randomly added to a group chat of, like, ghost fans, and now we're all, like, besties. And, like, there have been other places where, like, everyone has their kind of, like, little clique. You kind of gotta, like, beg to get in or you can't break in. Like, I found that to be true with What We Do in the Shadows, which, like, absolutely love that show. But I, like, was going around being like, hey, does anyone have any, like, you know, fan groups for this? Like, is anyone trying to make one? No response. No chats were, like, ever accepting new people, so I just had to, like, make my own, which turned out to be great. But, like, Ghost is I have found it to be very receptive to people, except when there's drama going on, but you're gonna get that everywhere, so.
There's always drama.
And,
I
like,
work in HR, trust me, there's always drama.
But sometimes it's fun to be in the trenches of a particular, of
I
any
tell
kind
people,
of fandom.
I tell people I went into HR because I'm nosy.
Literally.
And one of my favorite hobbies is reading Facebook comments. Because if you know, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna, like, is this one of my toxic traits? Is it one of my red flags? Yeah, probably. I'm a gossipy
I am a walking red flag today. So.
I am a gossipy bitch.
Love that for you.
And, like,
Crime.
Do I know this is one of my problems? Yeah. Brooks, I feel like you're just sitting here like, man, I'd love to study you. Because this is what you do.
Yes, but actually, I know I'm not super active in fandoms, but I actually have one.
I mean, please, butt in whenever.
Star Trek.
A huge Trekkie!
Oh, yeah.
The Trekkies are a wonderful people. Because
I dated a really, like, terrifyingly hardcore Trekkie. Would not recommend, like, that level of Trekkie, but, like, normal Trekkie, like to mildly obsessed Trekkie is totally fine. It's when you get into the like wants to wear it in the bedroom kind of thing, then you're like, all right, cool, you're taking it a little too far. Like, I'm all for sexy cosplay. I'm all for doing what you need to in your relationship, but I am not that kind of person.
Yeah, I know a couple of like hardcore Trekkies, and I went to the world premiere of Strange New Worlds in New York City year before last, and I've
That's
done
awesome.
Trek events, and like everybody is always just super nice and welcoming, and I think it's because of a lot of the philosophy of the various shows, where it's they're essentially trying to teach morality in a way. And so people, it's just a very nice community. Every once in a while, of course, you're going to have a person that's not being very nice. But for the most part, it's delightful.
Same with the cosplay community in general. Like, just so you know, there are a ton of good eggs, but there are some that you're just like, why are you the way you are?
And I'm always just like, what do you get out of it, you know? Anytime there's people who are like stirring the pot in any sort of fandom sense, I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah. Those are the people who have literally nothing better to do with their lives.
It fascinates me. Thing that happened on Ghost Twitter today. People are being really weird about a band that writes a lot of songs about sex, and they're like, oh, don't sexualize the band. Don't, like, make jokes about calling the lead singer daddy or whatever when he's up there, like, thrusting on stage and saying, and has said on multiple occasions, I'm going to fuck each one of you in the parking lot. They're like, don't sexualize Ghost. I'm like, oh my god.
That's intense.
I'm just like, are we listening to the same band? Like, where have you been? Have you listened to any of their, like, have you actually listened to any of their, like, I'm just like, I wish I understood. Like, what is the point?
Even in the Star Trek community, I feel like one of the things that people do when they just want to start some shit is they'll go in and mention the Tuvix controversy. Like, there's like these little pressure points that they know everybody gets really fired up about.
Mm-hmm.
The short version of it is that there were these two separate characters in Voyager, Tuvok and Neelix, and through a transporter incident, they got combined into one person.
Oh boy.
And so there was this big question of, do we leave it as this one person, or do we try to separate them back into their individual people, essentially killing this new person? And it is, hot button issue.
I can imagine. That's like a severe ethical dilemma. That's like the Kobayashi Maru exam. Like,
I
didn't
even think of this. And this would be good for, like, a future discussion if we don't want to do this right now, but, like, phrases to start a fight among nerds.
Do you want to start a fight? Works every time. Roll for initiative. Also works every time.
Like, that's
I'm a huge D&D nerd.
There's a discussion point that I might save if you ever want to come back. Things you can say to start a fight between a bunch of nerds.
Come back. We'll bookmark this for Mid Hudson. How about that?
Fantastic. Perfect. Yes. Love it.
We can get audience feedback.
Oh, fantastic. So, if we were comfortable with moving on, I have a game that I like to play.
Okay.
And it's called Smut or Angst. I will give you the title of a fanfiction. You have to guess whether it is smut or angst based on that title. I will tell you whether you are right or wrong. I have 10 fanfics that I have taken from my personal bookmarks. No, you do not get to know what they are. And that's it. That's the game. I stole it from TikTok.
This is really fun. I am really bad at these.
Fantastic.
Really bad at these.
I made it confusing. I made it as difficult as possible on purpose because I think it's really funny.
All right, I am ready.
So the first fanfic title I have for you both is Let the Poison Spill. Is that smut or angst?
Smut.
It's smut.
Yes! Off to a good start!
Second one.
Usually, was it an enemies to lovers trope? I feel like it was an enemies to lovers trope.
No. No, it wasn't.
Damn it.
Second
My streak
one.
is over.
Drunk on you.
Angst.
A trick, because my first thought is smut, but
Is that, are we gonna say that as that final answer?
yeah.
It is angst.
Yeah, so I said no. I feel like I should put this out there. I do not read fanfiction at all. At all. So.
And I don't know how you
Usually-
live.
Yeah, I haven't read fan fiction in a while, but I read a lot of nerd stuff like comics and mangas and graphic novels and stuff. So
Like, if AO3 ever goes down permanently, you will never see me again. You will never see me again. Anyway, the title of this one is Please Put Your Dick Away.
smut.
The last one tricked me, and so I want to go the opposite of my instinct and say angst.
It is angst.
Yeah. I only got one.
Title number 4, The Softest of Closures.
Smut.
Angst.
It is smut. Number 5, not in English. Or the title is not in English. The title is Intermezzo.
Italian.
It is indeed.
Smut.
It's smut.
Correct. Title number
First time we
6.
picked the same one.
Hmm?
I think that's the first time we picked the same.
Oh, yeah. Title number 6, Anesthesia.
Angst.
I hope it's angst.
Correct.
Because I don't like the idea of drugging somebody.
Oh, see, I was thinking...
That is called illegal activity, my friend.
See, I thought that one could potentially be confusing because it's like, oh, I want to, we're hooking up because I want to forget about everything or something like that.
Oh yeah, I could see that, but that's not where I went originally. I went like,
Fair
oh,
enough.
you numb my pain kind of original. That's where I went.
That's what, that, when I pick titles for this game in particular, that's what I try to do. Where things it's like, oh, this could be really sad, but it could also be like, oh, we're hooking up because feelings. So, there you have it. But, number 7, In Name Only.
smut.
It is smut.
When in doubt, just pick smut. Honestly, when in doubt,
Brooks,
just
didn't
pick
you
smut.
say... What was that t-shirt you said you could never actually buy me?
I think it's a beautiful day to read smut.
I could never read that anywhere, but God, wear that anywhere, but God,
I own a
vibes.
Cricket and I have vinyl. I will make you that shirt. Next, literally, if I can arrange a panel at Mid Hudson or Saratoga or whatever,
Let's go.
I will make you a shirt and we can play this game. Like that's fine.
Oh my God, we went to Toricon because Brooks here is based out in Rochester, and one of the things that they did as a panel at Toricon was one of the funniest.
guested at Flower City last year.
Was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It was a reading bad fanfiction panel where you would just give dramatic readings of bad Wattpad fanfics, and they didn't put
That's
names or anything,
hilarious.
so they weren't actually publicly shaming people. But oh my God, I was on the floor. It was so
That's hilarious.
funny.
Well, they're accepting panel applications. I'll send you the Discord link.
Don't mind if I do. I didn't say this one already, did I? Consolation?
No, but
Okay, cool.
I'm
Number
guessing
8.
angst. Final answer.
It is angst.
For the last second, I was like, I don't know. I feel like that could be smut.
That's why
Because,
that's
you know,
what I pick them based
comfort.
on. 9. Turn another page.
Smut.
Eh?
Smut. And 10. The morning after.
Oh, that's smut.
I feel like it's got to be a trick.
It's up to you, bestie.
Angst?
It is indeed angst.
It was a trick.
You cheated! How? But not. What? I call shenanigans.
I mean, if you really don't believe me, I will put the link in the Discord for you
it's fine.
specifically. But no one else gets to know what I'm reading.
I really do think we should propose a bad fanfiction reading panel.
Oh, 100%.
I will submit for panel application.
I am so here for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you would have to supply all the stories since I don't actually read fanfiction.
Done.
And I would.
Done. I have seen things I can never unsee.
That was a great time.
Don't mentally scar people. That's the problem.
We've already been mentally scarred by a bad fanfiction panel, and it was really fun, so I'm going to say worth it.
Oh, man. It was a blast. We actually, one of the stories, the guy performed it just so well, like, so over the top.
Shakespearean.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It was beauty. And so I went and I Googled until I found the actual story online.
It was on FFN, wasn't it?
I don't remember, but I actually still have the tab open on my phone.
Keep
Jabba
that.
the Slut was the,
Oh yeah, Jabba the Slut. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Is that what you think it is?
Oh, I sent you the link. I love it. It's a masterpiece.
Sure, I want to know.
Thing of beauty.
You can. Here's the thing. It's hilarious, but you also cannot go. You can never return to a state of not knowing.
Yeah, I can kind of tell that.
There are phrases in that story that I can just still, like, they haunt me.
Mm-hmm.
They just pop in my head now and then.
Yep. It was great. It was
That's
fantastic.
Hilarious.
Unless anyone has anything else to say regarding just about anything, I do have something else that is on the list, and then we do a thing at the end of every podcast episode called the Weekly Worsening, which is just how we share a thing that makes us, something that's fun for us, but makes us a more insufferable person to be around. Like, I'm worse for everyone else, but I'm having a blast. Like, that type of beat.
Gotcha.
So, like, we'll get to that. But the final thing I have has absolutely nothing to do with cosplay or anything. Brooks, I remember distinctly after our last recording session, before we wound up taking a week off, I told you to save your anger about this question that I asked for the next podcast. So I just want to know everyone's thoughts on eating raw pasta. Like, is it normal, permissible? Is it a generation-specific form of weirdness? Discuss.
I've never heard of people eating raw pasta.
Huh?
I think that is the weirdest thing on the planet.
Oh my god, I eat raw pasta all the time. When I was in college...
What's wrong with you?
When I was in college, one of my RAs was walking around the building doing, like, room checks or whatever, and she just had a box of, like, raw spaghetti and was eating it.
That's so weird.
Everyone I know
Hold
does
on.
this.
How old are you?
25.
I'm 26. This is bullshit. What the fuck? What is wrong with you? My fiance's 33. He's never heard of it before.
You
At
don't
least I
just
don't
like
think he has.
You don't just like crunch a noodle when you're waiting for the water to boil?
No.
It won't taste good.
But
It's just dried dough. That's literally all it is.
but
No flavor.
Love the crunch.
Okay. In terms of weird things that I've actually enjoyed though, like hardtack. Do you know what hardtack is?
Oh my god, we made it as part of a class project. It was like, oh, look
It's
how bad
actually
everything
pretty
is.
good.
It
It's
kind
really
of
just
slaps.
flour and water, but it's actually pretty good.
It like kind of slaps.
I know, right? If you eat it soon enough after you make it, then it actually is kind of fluffy.
Yeah, it's just
And,
a cracker.
Like, it's pretty much just like, depending on how you make it, you can either make it as like a bread or like more as like a cracker. I made it as more of like a bread, and I was like, all right, cool. But like literally, it's just flour and water. That's
Yeah, I
it.
really was not mad
meant
at it.
for like sailors' long voyages back in the colonial era. Like,
But yeah, I eat raw pasta all the time. Whenever I did that literally less than an hour ago when I was making myself some
I'm
noodles.
judging you a little bit.
I mean, please go for it. Like, that's the whole point of this show. It is to judge each other and then get mad.
There's a reason people make pasta and then put sauce on it. Like, you don't see people just making pasta and just eating it with nothing on it.
I mean, I do that.
Just plain noodles with nothing?
I'm not going to say I've never done it.
I don't do it frequently, but I do it occasionally if
Yeah,
I'm too lazy to go find a sauce.
Sounds terrible.
It's pretty bland.
And I mean,
But
also, like,
you know
I
what
am
is
kind
a
of just
bomb-ass meal?
I am a whore for a plain carb. Like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it just hits.
My best easy, like, I don't care about anything meal is we have a rice cooker and it is rice and Japanese barbecue sauce. That is it. Like, you cook the
Nice.
rice, you drizzle some Japanese barbecue sauce on it, and you mix it up, and that is it. That is such a good meal.
You know a thing that I'm obsessed with and do constantly? I make myself an egg and cheese quesadilla.
Really?
It's delicious. It's so good.
I'll have to try.
Highly recommend. That was a thing I started doing in college because, duh, that's where you do all of your weird cooking experiments. And I was like, wait a second, this is fantastic. Also, scrambled egg breakfast burrito. You scramble your eggs, put a little cheese in there, whatever, maybe whatever kind of vegetable you like. Put it in a fucking tortilla.
Sounds lovely. There's actually a dish that my fiance makes called Hobbit hash.
Already
he
sold.
found it on TikTok. It's potatoes, eggs, cheese, peppers, and onions. And it's like cubed potatoes, and you cook it in the bacon. Oh, there's also bacon in it. I forgot about that.
Hell yes.
So there's like you cook the bacon, and you cook the potatoes in the bacon grease, and then you toss it all together with some cheese and some eggs and some peppers and some onions. It is so good. And when you wrap it in a tortilla,
Consider me
Damn good.
say less. I am sold.
I love that for you.
But yeah, I think it's fine to eat raw pasta. I don't think it's weird. I'm fine if you
but
judge
like
me.
weird is relative. So like I think it's weird, but I also dip French fries into ice cream and eat them. So I put pickle juice on French fries. So it's really
Okay,
like
the
a
pickle juice thing I've never heard of. The putting your fries in your Frosty or in your milkshake. I mean, maybe this is just because we exist in a time of internet and everyone can share the like weird individual things that they do, but that's pretty normal.
Well, the pickle juice is weird. That I know.
That I haven't heard about before, so I will give you that one.
Well, in my defense, I obviously don't think it's that weird to mix potatoes and pickles because they make dill pickle flavored potato chips. So like I feel like I have a leg to stand on here, but I don't. They're not like squeezing pickles out onto.
Okay,
fresh
that's
French
a
fries.
little odd.
Yeah, that's what I
will
do.
give you that one.
And then I eat the pickle and the French fry. Like I eat them separately, but
Interesting.
yeah, it's actually really good because you get the acid from the.
I want to see if I can get
pickling.
at least one person on my side on this eating raw pasta thing. I'm gonna see if my sister picks up. She probably won't, but if she does, it'll be really funny.
Would we really trust her opinion, though?
I mean, we can trust her opinion on this one thing. Not to be mean to my sister, but very opposite personalities, does not think a lot of the same things that we find funny are funny, and we just can't wrap our minds around it.
I will never get over her not thinking Marcel the Shell is funny.
Listen, I wish
Never.
I understood, but I don't. She probably won't pick up, but I did call her once on the podcast before, and she did pick up, which was a surprise, but I'll take it. Let's see. Fingers crossed, everybody.
Just silence.
She might be at work. I don't know.
Your call has been forwarded
God
to
damn
an
it.
automatic voice message.
All right.
We tried.
We did try. I have
I'll
witnessed
give
her
you a
eat...
gold star for
I
that
have
one.
witnessed her eat raw pasta before, though, so I know that she does it.
Maybe it's a family thing. Like I'm based out of Connecticut, and I grew up and I was born and raised and moved around a lot when I was a kid, but I come from an Irish-German family. I never came from like an Italian family or anything. I don't know if
My
it's
family
like
is
a cultural thing.
No, my family's primarily Irish, and various other forms of European. And I know friends, like we have friends who do it. This is interesting.
I have no idea.
I think
Do
it's
we tell?
fine.
I have opinions.
That's
I have pretty strong
that's-
opinions about that, actually.
that's the whole show. We love strong opinions here. But unless anybody else has anything to say about that, I think that is going to bring us to the weekly worsening, which, man, oh man, do I have something.
I'm curious.
I mean, Brooks, you take a wild guess as to what this has to do with.
See, the thing is, there are so many things you're getting, like, so many areas where you're getting worse simultaneously.
Yeah, it's constant. But what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, it's always Ghost is the first
Yeah.
thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Ghost. Today they announced the release of like a special box set edition of Impera with like photo book, like, you know, fancy color variant, unreleased single on vinyl. It was like $200.
You already ordered it. Yeah.
Yep, like 5 minutes after they announced it.
I mean, I can't fault you. I mean, like, Comic-Con tickets are $275 a pop, and that is something you only get to experience for 4 days.
Yeah.
And you do not want to know the amount of money I spend on cosplay or the shop. It is disgusting. I actually started tracking it this year, like, to see how much money I spent on cosplay. And in the span of January to February, I spent almost $2,000.
That's one of those things where, like, I don't need to know because reality is already a hellscape and this is what I do to make it not a hellscape. I don't need to know, like, what I'm sinking into that because this is what makes life worth living.
Yeah, I'm a little different because I'm trying to get in the habit of tracking my cosplay because as I eventually grow bigger and bigger, I will eventually need to start using it as a tax write-off, and I don't want the IRS to be like, hey, what gives? Because this is eventually going to be my full-time career, not my
Also, just
weekend.
literally one of the most annoying things about the United States in general is that the government knows how much money you owe. They just won't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit. Anyway, how are you two worse this week?
I had a manic episode and decided to pick fights with people because I was bored, so I was entertained.
Love it.
But everybody else
Fights
was
about
really
what, if you don't mind my asking?
So I basically, like, so my friend I used to work at a Renaissance fair, but she goes to Renaissance fairs almost year round. She goes to Renaissance fairs and LARPs. She doesn't do conventions, but she does Ren fairs and LARPs. So she dresses up in Renaissance fair garb, and costumes and stuff like that. I mean, I have like $6,000 worth of Renaissance costuming in my closet. It's ridiculous how expensive it is and how much I have. But anyway, not the point. So anyway, she doesn't have a professional page. She doesn't take this seriously. She just dresses up on the weekends and goes to Ren fairs. So she made a comment in a group chat that was like, hey, I just found a photographer for one of the Ren fairs she goes to. And I was like, well, why do you need a professional photographer if you only post the photos on Facebook? And she's like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, well, you know, professional photographers usually need to be paid. And if you're paying someone when I know you're a broke ass bitch, I think that's a waste of money. And she was like, how dare you? And I was like, listen, I eventually did apologize because I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have picked a fight when I knew like what I was going to say was going to set her off. That was wrong of me. And I apologized. But at the time I was like, ooh, let me poke some buttons here. I am so bad at that. Like whenever I fight dirty, and I try not to fight. Like that is the last thing on my mind, but man, oh man, do I fight dirty when I have to.
Yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. I am a gossipy bitch.
Oh yeah.
Brooks,
like me and my friend all good now. She actually ended up getting a ticket to Comic-Con, which I thought was hilarious. So she's actually going on one of the days that I mean, obviously I'm going all 4 days, but she's going on Thursday, which is great. And she was like actually talking about wanting to cosplay, and I was like, cool. Now I'm actually really excited because you're expressing interest in something that I take really seriously and really passionately.
That's what I did to you. I just talked at you about it for long enough. And then I was like, hey, you gonna do this? And you're like, I guess. And now here we are.
in her defense, she does, like, when she does go to Ren Fair, she's used to posing for a camera and stuff like that. So it's not like she was totally out of line. But I was like, girl, like, it turns out the whole reason she was asking, like, she was telling us that she got a photographer is because she gets really elaborate headpieces made from Australia.
Ooh, fun.
And the creator wanted some pictures in practice of those things because they don't have LARPs or Ren Fairs in Australia. And so she was like, okay, cool, I have all these crowns and now I want to get professional pictures to help out this person who creates all these beautiful things. And she just, so it's like a whole thing, but like I was just like, really? And she's like, if I'm not saying that I'm totally vocal of like being really loud and vocal about being proud of you for in your cosplay, because I just booked another convention. So she was like, if I'm not saying that I'm proud of you, it doesn't mean I don't support your cosplay career. I was like, cool, then don't change the subject every 5 seconds when I bring it up. And she was like, why are you attacking me like this? I was like, listen, don't dish it out if you can't take it.
God damn.
It was, yeah, I tough love. That is my brand of friendship. Tough love.
Sometimes it works. Brooks, how are you worse this week?
I've been so busy that I haven't had much free time to be worse. Because I've been, like, doing things I had to do rather than the fun things that make me worse. But I did finish season 3 of Castlevania.
Okay, fuck you. I haven't even finished season 2 yet.
I am halfway through season 2, but that's because I keep getting distracted by Fairy Tale, and that's on me. That's
Castlevania is another thing that is just in general making me worse.
Have you seen Arcane?
I have not.
Watch it.
Noted.
Also, like, please, if you ever play video games, don't get into the League of Legends fandom because it is so toxic. It is so. I have never played League of Legends
to be involved.
Like So I actually like watching esports, and one of the esports I watch is League of Legends, so I know how to play. I just don't. But like, man, is that fandom toxic. And like, am I gonna cosplay from it? Yeah. Do I like the music? Yeah. Do I like watching them play? Yeah. Am I actually ever gonna play and get into the fandom myself? No.
No, yeah, Castlevania has made me so much worse. Alucard in particular, because I was ready to bark for that man the second he showed up.
Oh yeah. 100%. I have realized through my rewatching of season 1 that I am Sypha, because at one point she's like, see, God hates me.
I love her so much.
That is me. 100%. And
I love Sypha so much.
I read something that I took to heart about Castlevania, and it was like, out of 1 million brain cells, Trevor and Alucard share one. And Sypha has the rest of them.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, I've never seen anything so accurate in my entire life. Like, of course, Alucard and Trevor share one brain cell. They're practically screwing each other. Like, of course.
Yeah. No. I love Sypha so much.
Sypha is my baby. I love her.
But again,
best girl, actual waifu.
Alucard, I am free on Thursdays. I will bark for you.
I have one of my best friends' boyfriends is obsessed with Castlevania, but like was obsessed with Castlevania the game before the show
I need
came
to
out.
check those out.
They're actually pretty decent, but
As
he
a
has
gamer.
on his forearm, like from his wrist to his elbow, a full black, like colored in black castle from Castlevania,
God damn.
the video game.
That's pretty sick.
Like that's how much he loves it, and I'm like Jesse, man, like.
Brooks, I feel like I interrupted you before you could even make a point about being slightly worse. Yes, Castlevania. Is there anything further?
Also continue to play Zelda too much.
You and Kyle should talk.
Yeah, but like Tears of the Kingdom is an absolutely stellar game, and so is Breath of the Wild. So like no one is gonna fault you.
Yeah, so I hadn't played any Zelda since I was like a kid, like the original. And when Tears of the Kingdom was coming out, and I was like, well, I want to play it, but I gotta play Breath of the Wild first. So I've been playing Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild, I have never actually... So I played like 10 minutes of Breath of the Wild, but I have played almost every single Zelda game, including the DS versions. before this, and then once Breath of the Wild came out, at the time I didn't have a Switch, and then when I got a Switch, it was like a year and a half later, and I was like, I don't feel like spending $65 on a game that I'm gonna play for like 10 minutes and then get bored of. So I watched my brother. I have a twin brother, and I watched him play Breath of the Wild, and I was like, oh my god, this game is gorgeous. And I was trying to he's watched me play games like Fallout and Skyrim and like more first person kind of RPG esque things.
The annual 4-week Skyrim obsession.
Oh god. So anyway, he's used to watching me play those because that's what I enjoy. And when I was watching him play, I was like, wow, this is gorgeous. He's like, yeah, the map is pretty big. I think it's bigger than Fallout. And I was like, I don't think they're actually about the same.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild is slightly larger.
God damn.
Yeah. And there are like it's impressive. So, and then my fiance actually, his sister, my future sister-in-law, bought us a copy of Breath of the Wild. So he's been playing through it, so I've been able to watch it. But I don't have every time. So if you're not familiar with Fallout, in New Vegas specifically, your weapons can break.
I haven't
and you
played
have
New
to
Vegas
repair
yet.
them. And I hate that mechanic. That is the worst mechanic that I can ever possibly think of, and I hate it. Because I play for story, I don't play for like combat mechanics.
Yeah, I generally play for story.
Yeah, like Outer Worlds has a great option where you can play like for the story, and everything is like super. It's not like super easy, but it's all way leveled down, so you can focus on the story because you have to slog through a lot of shooting things. But
that's what I'm gonna have to do when I eventually get brave enough to play Outlast. I'm just gonna set it to the easiest difficulty possible because I want to know the story, but I'm a little baby.
Well, speaking of being a little baby about video games, Doki Doki Literature Club.
I love Doki Doki Literature Club so much.
So I went through a phase in high school and college where all I would watch was horror movies, and then all of a sudden one day I was like, I'm gonna watch a horror movie, and I watched a horror movie and I had nightmares for 3 weeks.
What movie?
So something in my brain changed, and I can't stand horror anymore.
Oh, I love horror. I love it.
So someone recommended Doki Doki Literature Club to me, and I was like, okay, it looks like this cute game. Like, why not? And then someone said, I was reading like a review, and they were like, please, if you have any triggers, do not play this game. And I was like, that's a really weird thing to put on a like dating sim. Like, I really don't understand. And so I looked up the Wikipedia article that tells you the plot with all the spoilers in it, and I read that whole thing. I had nightmares. I was like, I cannot play this game.
I love Doki
But
Doki Literature Club
I also
so much.
have some mental illness trouble, so I was like, oh, cool. Like, if I know about the triggers going into it, I can play it. And then I read the triggers. I was like, fuck no. I was like, I am not putting myself through that.
It's Worm City up in here, but
Yeah.
I just do it anyway. Yeah, I love horror. Like, horror video games in particular are like my final frontier because I am totally cool with like watching scary movies, TV shows, reading scary books. Totally fine with it. Something about playing horror games where you have to be the one pressing the button to move yourself forward into the scary thing rather than like just like turning the page, or like the movie where the plot continues and you are watching, you having to make the decision to walk into the scary thing. Oh, we're still trying to get there.
You would never be able to play Dead Space.
I've gotten better though. Slowly but surely I am building up. It will happen someday.
Have you ever heard of Dead Space?
I have.
Or Dead Space 2?
I used to be such a wimp. I used to be terrified of like any of the ghouls in Fallout. I used to be so afraid to like engage any of them. But we've gotten better.
Well, the very first time I played Fallout, it was Fallout 3, and
First Fallout I ever played was Fallout 4.
Yeah, so I played Fallout 3. My boyfriend at the time, when I was going through radiation treatment, gave me his PS3 to borrow so I could play video games while I was in isolation. And he gave me Fallout, he gave me Skyrim, he gave me like a bunch of Bethesda games because that's all he played. So I ended up playing Fallout 3, and I wasn't familiar because I had never played any of the like first-person RPGs before, so I wasn't familiar with the whole like side quest kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I was more like, okay, the story. So I beat the story in like 3 hours because Fallout 3 in general is a pretty short game.
Yeah.
And I didn't do any of the DLC, which I had access to, but I didn't do any of that. I didn't do any of the side quests. I just mainline, like speed ran the game. And then I moved on to New Vegas, and New Vegas is the only Fallout that I have 100% complete to this day. And I'm like, yeah, courier baby. I'm like, yeah, give me the Mojave Wasteland. Like, it's honestly one of the best Fallout games. And Obsidian is actually in talks to be doing another Fallout. But I am personally, in Fallout news, I am personally really excited to hear more about the Fallout London mod for Fallout 4. It is a mod that completely revamps the game, where it takes place in London, and they have voice actors and new characters and a completely different map. And
I'm here for it.
And it's actually styled more like a horror game. So like, if you've ever played Fallout before, you know if you turn on the light on your Pip-Boy, it illuminates the entire area in front of you, and there are no shadows, like even behind objects, which is weird because obviously that doesn't make sense in real life. Now, Fallout London has a specific mod. I was just watching something about it. This is the only reason I remember it. Has a specific mod where it works like a flashlight, so it only has like a circle of light instead of illuminating the entire space in front of you. I am not looking forward to when I inevitably run into a Deathclaw that way.
Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be really fun.
I will scream and I will cry. Like, I don't like Deathclaws. I've never liked Deathclaws. No, thank you.
Like, Fallout used to be a little too much, but then I got cool with that. And then the Metro series used to be a little bit too much, and now I'm totally fine with that. So
you thought Metroid was scary?
No, Metro.
Oh, I was like Metroid. I was like, what?
I've never played a Metroid game.
That game's not scary at all.
No, I've never played any of those games in my life.
They're actually really fun. They're like platformers.
I love a good platformer.
Well, the originals are like platformers. There are some first-person RPGs,
but the Metro X, like Metro 2033, which is like creepy underground, takes place in like the subway tunnels under like St. Petersburg and Moscow. It's great. It's based on a book, but that used to be a little too much, and now I'm super cool with that. So we'll get there, I think.
Proud of you. We love that for you.
She tries, but unless anyone else has anything further to say about any of the points we've made or about anything in general, I think that's going to bring us to the end.
I am going to put in a shameless plug for myself. My name is Harley
absolutely.
Nox Cosplay. My name is Harley Nox Cosplay. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Harley Nox Cosplay, all one word. Or you can find me on Twitter, sorry, not Instagram. Instagram and Facebook is at Harley Nox Cosplay. Twitter is Harley_Nox. And I just joined a new social media app, which you can find in my Instagram stories. And yeah, I'll be guesting at Toying Around, not this weekend, next weekend. And then I've got Contropolis, New Jersey in July, Sugoi PopCon in August, Mid-Hudson Comic-Con in September, and then Saratoga Comic-Con in November. So if you want to say hi, just swing by one of those conventions and say hi.
We will also be at Mid-Hudson Saratoga Comic-Con, and we have a 1-week delay between recording and release, so by the time this comes out, you will be at whatever the first one you mentioned was.
Toying Around.
The very next day.
Oh, yeah, awesome. So, yeah, I will be at Toying Around this weekend, June 24th. So, if you have any inkling or want to see what I sell or what I do, come out and out. It's in Johnstown, New York.
Hell yeah. As always, thank you for fighting with us, friends. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we will see you again next week. Adios. This week's episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast was hosted by Bridget Kelly and Dr. Sarah Brooks, featuring special guest Harley Nox. You can find other episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or your other favorite listening platform. Follow us on Twitter at BridgetKelly98, at AndSarahSaid, and check out Harley's Linktree in the description. Rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice, like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitch and Facebook, and join our Discord community using the links in the description. You can also help support us via the Acast supporter feature, or consider donating to our Patreon for early access to episodes and fun bonus content. Thanks for listening!